So it is Friday, January 27th, 2012 at 3:10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I want to show you here on IntelliCast, we're looking at the tail end of a storm that has just come through Texas and all these lower states, actually the whole East Coast. And it's now moved off, it looks like, into the Atlantic. But I want to show you a few things in connection with this storm. I'm going to turn on the earthquakes, and we're going to mosey on down here to South America. Right here in Guatemala, we had two earthquakes. One on January 26th, 2012 at 13:25 UTC was a 4.4, and one on January 27th at 4:19 GMT, which is the same as universal time. UTC is universal time. And something I noticed or happened upon was here on NextSat, right here, see, I don't know if you can see it, there's this little black line. It comes and it starts fading away, but it's aimed right for Guatemala. Let me go over here. Here's Guatemala right here. And if you look at this distance, because it's basically following this longitude line, not quite, but just generally speaking, you're going to land right here in Guatemala if it carries through. The Terminator line's right here, so this is the daylight side of things, and it seems to be fading away. I'm not sure if that's why, but I'll go up here and show you the time. We're on frame 49, which is 1600 UTC on January 26th. And I'll go ahead and zoom out, although I'm not sure if you can see it. Play it through here. Maybe. Go. There it goes. I'll zoom out again. And when I zoom out, it wants to. Yeah, see, it wigs out too. I don't know why. It doesn't always do this. We'll come in one, and I'll just have to scroll down, which is all right. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There goes. If you watch the Terminator line, it's right after the Terminator line gets to about right here. You'll see it come down towards Guatemala. Here comes the Terminator line. It's right there. Looks like there was one before that too. Well, that'll take me a while to figure out. So let's move on. And then I've got another NextSat satellite loop here, and it has the same thing. We've got a line. I've switched over. I know it looks like the same one, but we've got a line right here headed straight for Guatemala, but you can see there's weather now over Guatemala, so it's hard to see it. And again, it's that same distance. Let me zoom in. And actually we have two lines. We've got one up here. This looks like 20 north from what I can tell, this blue line. And that's the longitude line, but we've got one line going here. You can see it. The Terminator line again is right here, and you can't really see the line very good in it, but coming out of it you see the line. And then it fades away to a lighter color. And I'm going to mosey on this way. And that's kind of aimed right at here. And actually we have a breakaway. I'm going to show you something in a minute where it looks like we have some system overtaking the current system that's feeding this. And so here's the lower line. And again, look at this distance from this longitude line. And you can see that again, we're right at Guatemala. It's aimed directly for it. The time on this beam is, well, ring, satellite, I call them satellite rings. And that's January 27th at 16:30. So if I switch over to College of DuPage, I've got the water vapor satellite loop going, and it basically goes from 16 on the 26th of January to 16 UTC on the 27th. And you can see that, see the system's pulling up? See how it's pulling, and then you can see these clouds rising up, and right here is Guatemala. And this is where the earthquakes happened, and this is where those satellite rings were aimed. And see how it's feeding right into that? Now prior to that, we've got something feeding it from over here, but this rises up and joins it. Let's kind of click through here. So going backwards, at 1645 on January 26th, there's something in here, and I'm not sure where it came from, and there's something looks like it's being generated here out of the Gulf, and maybe we can find it here. Let's go see. 1645. Oh, that flashing. Well, actually, this ends at 1615. So it looks like it's coming from this area here. Let me go ahead and just play this through. I should have checked this ahead of time. So now we're beginning the loop over. And it looks like it's rising out of the Gulf here. And this one's from this point in the Gulf, and joining this other one. It looks like it might be actually being generated from down here, which I've seen that before. And there's an interesting dish down there too. Maybe we can go find it. I don't know, there's so many things to show you though. And so then and that's before it moves on to where it's being fed from Guatemala. So let's go to the second one and go ahead and play that. Let's see, this one goes from 127 at 3:30 UTC to 127 at 1700 UTC. I'm just going to go ahead and play it here. Mosey back on down here. And this one's really flashing. So it had come across the Gulf, and now it's being fed by, here, see? It's rising up, adding to it. It looks like it's actually trying to overtake it. And now the really interesting part is, notice the gray line moving through here. Well, there it comes, see it? And then it comes around. It's the Terminator line. It's that gray area between light and dark. And notice, see how it rotates, like right here, right in to the east of the Hudson Bay here. It rotates, see that? It swings around because it stays dark up in Alaska, you know, all that kind of situation's going on. It doesn't get quite to the North Pole. And so something I noticed is this pulsing. And I've noticed this pulsing before, and it's always bothered me, but I just had I thought, well, maybe it's just a normal thing for satellites, that every other image that it's missing. But now I'm pretty sure that that's not the case, because if you notice, right at the point where this Terminator is pivoting, see this little stair step thing? See how it's pulsing? See that? And then watch this, what's coming up here. See how it's pushing on it, and then it starts to rotate. See? And it seems to be connected with the Terminator line. Sorry. And not the whole line isn't shaking or pulsing, it's just the bottom part. Right here. And see, this is turning. And then after the Terminator line goes through, this cutout that they have rises back up so you can't see it anymore. So we don't know if it's still flashing or not, but it shows up the most in the low-lying clouds. The red is low-lying clouds. And then we're also getting pulsing over here, obviously. But see how it's, I mean, it looks like it's pushing on it. And then when you go, if I zoom out, I'm going to zoom in one more, see if I can show you both at once. I'm gonna, even though it's kind of ugly. I mean, this looks too also like it's bumping. Bumping, pulsing. See how it looks, and this is what's feeding into Guatemala. And I don't know if it's the earthquakes that is attracting this to go that way, because it's pushing up and it's pushing left. See how it, let me zoom in on that, maybe. See, this is moving in real slow, but this is moving a lot faster, what's coming out of this. And I have no idea how a satellite image could do this, but I mean, clearly it's, because even this isn't moving anywhere, it's just kind of going, but what's coming off the edge, it's moving away. And then what I want to show you is the one from the 26th. I went back and looked at it, and we don't have, for some reason, the low-lying clouds aren't showing up, the red clouds, which is the low clouds. And where the Terminator is, the hinge, basically where the Terminator is turning, that cutout is way up here, so we're not seeing what's down. We're not seeing that stair step down in here on this one. So it could be pulsing, but we don't know it because we can't see the pink clouds where it shows up the most. Over on this side, going up here, you can see some little white things, but it just doesn't show as much. That could be the result of that pulsing. See, they're in here. But we can't see this stair step cutout thing because, you know, the other one was right by the Hudson Bay, and I'll go back and we'll look at that one more time. Oops, wrong way. See? And that's right where this turns. Actually, it's right to the bottom side of it. I'll keep my cursor where it's starting to flash. Well, no, it's right in the middle of it. And you can see this starting to turn. And then that cut up goes up once the Terminator, well, actually just before the Terminator line gets there. I don't know what all this means, but it seems like it ties together. So God bless you. Have a good evening.